Hey everybody, welcome back to Battle Ready Inc. So today we're covering the very last deck of BT5, and I wanted to make it something really awesome. This deck kind of started out really slow, and just as more and more cards just really got discovered and really got to find their unique fit into the meta, this deck really started to develop into something awesome. Actually, even taking a tournament, I believe it was in Australia at one of their Evo Cups, taking the top spot. So it is possible to go all the way with this deck. It is difficult, and it takes a really good pilot. So I hope it kind of like sparks some interest and gets some ideas flowing for all of you guys wanting to play this deck. Also, our memory marker for the month of August is going to be the first of our Armor Digi Eggs. This thing is sweet. You cannot get anything like this anywhere else that I've ever seen. This thing is an awesome, awesome memory marker. Of course, we went with Flamedramon as our very first egg here. With the egg of courage, got the crest painted on it right there. This thing is amazing. I just cannot get enough of it. This is handmade out of clay by my wife, as usual. Also, if you want to get any of our previous memory markers, check the coffee link in the description below. There you can order one of the many previous memory markers that we've had. I believe Tanamon just got added to that list. The only thing about going from coffee is that you can't get the most recent one until a month after it's been featured on the channel. So Digimon just ended. You'll have to wait a month before you can order that one. With the egg here, the Armored Digivolve eggs, you're going to have to wait 2 months before it's live on coffee. So if you want it now, you got to go through Patreon. So let's jump in here. First up, our first egg is Demi-Meramon. The whole theme of this deck is to be setting up your trash with lots of Devimon. So we can get there by discarding several rather than having them crash into security. So Demi-Meramon here is just a great way to kind of sculpt your hand as well as sculpt your trash for your DonDevi plays later on. Also kind of facilitating that, we've got the Pagumon. Purple can typically play a little slower than other decks, so having a 5th egg can be pretty relevant pretty often. So this one, again, on deletion effects is kind of like where we're wanting to go with this strategy here, and just trash the top 2 on deletion. Really just kind of fits in. If this is the first egg that comes up, it's okay. It still just helps with the whole combo and just being able to fill up your trash with Devimon. And then our first rookie here is the rookie that really makes this whole deck possible and really makes it a viable, like, competitive strategy. And that's just this inheritable here. If you have 7 or more Digimon cards with Devimon in their names in your trash, you may play one DonDevimon from your trash without paying its memory cost. So this is just a really good mid-game card here. Once you get those 7 in trash, get that DonDevi in trash, either through your mills or your discards. We have tons of effects that do both of those. Makes him live as fast as possible is kind of the name of the game, we have multiple ways to bring him back from the trash. So even if you have to go into him early game and put him in the trash, you can still get him back out later and keep recycling his effect over and over. Next up, we got another Devimon name here, and this one is another one of the promos, one of the early on tournament promos, and this is on play, trash the top 2 cards of your deck. We have very few on play Digimon, this being probably the main one, and again, we're just trying to fill up that trash as fast as possible, so just dumping 2 cards instantly for a play cost of 3 on a rookie. Pretty standard on play there. Next, we've got another Devimon. This is just the vanilla, just for 2 more names. You could drop this for more copies of these next few, but I kind of just wanted more of the Devimon name personally, and so did my playtest partner, and this one just kind of fits the bill. 0 cost Evo if you need him to be Evo'd and raising, as well as a 2 play cost. You don't want to play 3 play costs for a vanilla, so 2 play costs for a little bit cheaper. That's totally fine. And then next up, we got Gazimon, just a memory blocker. Being able to block memory in this game, especially in this format, is just so important. If you're looking at yellow, yellow's got things like Blinding Ray, that is such a just nuisance of a card. In Rookie Rush or Lord Knight, being able to push your opponent to 1, and then they Blinding Ray up to 3, go into Lord Knight, and then pop off, or even Rookie Rush, being able to Blinding Ray is really, really powerful for them. Blue has stuff like Hammer Spark, so being able to turn that off is pretty important in the blue matchup. If you're going against Lilith Loop, that's also pretty prominent because you bring out 1 memory blocker and you can shut down all of Lilith Loop, and that's very important to be able to do. Turn that whole deck off. Great card. So 2 of at a minimum. You can definitely argue running 3 copies of this guy though. Next up, we got Labramon. Just to kind of round things off, you could drop him for more of the Devi vanillas if you want. I just liked him as just 1 more on-play ability. I just like a couple different rookies that can have on-play effects, and this one being our other one for that draw power, so draw 1, discard 1. I'd rather have a good ability like this than a vanilla, personally. So I liked a little bit of balance there, just for whatever the situation calls for. So being able to dig and discard, because maybe you have the cards you need in your hand, but you need 1 more in trash. So you play Labramon to just go ahead and pitch that 7th copy that you need to make your whole combo live. So, never know when you need to discard something, so Labramon's really good. As well as just drawing, of course. Next, we got Devimon here. This is OG Devimon from BT2, the original man himself. Retaliation as his main effect here. This is kind of your main form of removal. We're not playing a whole lot of option cards necessarily that can get rid of big threats, so Devimon here is going to be your main staple for getting rid of big things. Megas, level 7s, all that sort of thing. Just go on top of whatever raising rookie you've got here, swing with that Devimon. Or even if you just Digivolve him on top of your rookie in raising, your opponent is going to be leery of swinging with their Megas, because if they leave them suspended, they know that Devimon's about to get promoted next turn and become a real threat. So he's just also there as just a flex of, try me, okay? Because you know what's coming if you do. And then the Retaliation Inheritable is also really underutilized, I think, is if you just keep Digivolving up into your Megas, no one's going to want to clear that DonDevi because you got that Retaliation on it, or your Mastamon, whatever Mega you decide to go with, they're going to really have to debate if they want to run over it because it's going to have Retaliation. So Devimon, great card. Next, we got the blocker Devi as well, and what is there to say about this? We want a blocker. You got to have a blocker right in your deck, especially a slower deck that takes kind of a build-up process. Having a blocker is a must. So, and a 1 cost. So not only are we a blocker for just fending off our opponent, we're also a 1 cost Evo. So if we're just trying to be memory efficient and then just burst into a Mega as quickly as we possibly can, 1 cost Evos is how we get there on our level 4s. So great, awesome. And then to top it off, if that wasn't enough, he also has the name Devimon, so it just works out even more. We have another Devimon that is the perfect fit for this deck. Absolutely, this Devimon blocker is already used in tons of purple decks, and then the fact that it's also a Devimon is just so perfect. And then Maramon here, we already kind of discussed. 1 cost Evo level 4 just to burst into that Mega as memory efficient as possible. You put yourself at 3, you can go into this for 1, Skullmare for 2, and then go into your Mega to pass turn. So that's 3 Evos off of 3 memory. Just being memory efficient is very important for a deck kind of like this. Next, we got our ultimates here. Lady Devimon, so again, more of the Devimon name here. This is more of a just, we don't really need her for the name. We have enough names as it is. We're covered. It is nice just to have maybe 1 extra. You never know. And but really, it's just we need to draw into whatever important card we're not getting. Okay, so you got your draw for Evo and your draw 2. That's really good for just digging into whatever kind of Mega you're trying to get to. Lady Devi is great for that. And then being able to trash 2 on top of that. So again, sculpting your hand to get the pieces you need for that exact moment to evo into, but also setting up your trash, because this is a Devimon deck, is very great. And being able to trash 2 gives you potentially 2 more Devimons with her. The inheritable can come up, just being able to pop a rookie. You never hurts, just being able to clear something off your opponent's field. If you're going to be playing the options anyway, it's cool to get a side effect pop of a rookie on top of that. What's also not as nice about this is it also pops Lucimon, because Lucimon is still technically a level 3, so that's pretty cool. And Skullmare, we already discussed. 2 Evo cost here, just to get into our Megas really quickly. But nothing can be, or plenty can be said about a 5-play cost, level 5, though. We saw Monzemon early on in blue, just, sometimes that's just your turn 1 play. It's just a hard drop of level 5 for 5 cost. It's not the worst, but then immediately in your turn 2, go into a Mega. That's pretty good. So 5-play cost isn't the worst. I mean, we've hard played blockers for that same cost, but this sets you up for a really nice Mega play on the following turn. And next we got War Growlmon at a 3 of. So this is our highest 3 of that we have so far. And why do we have this one in here so high? It's the Digiburst 3 being able to bring back a rookie. Like I was talking about early on, if you need to go into your promo Devimon, Demi-Devi, you need to be able to get that thing back. If you can't draw into any more copies, you've used them all up or whatever, being able to just recycle it back to the field to immediately Digivolve like a blocker on top of it to make that effect live. War Growlmon is why we're in here, is why he's in here, just because that recycle. As well as his inheritable is pretty good for this particular deck. This deck doesn't have a whole lot of like aggro potential of being able to just really get in there for a whole lot of hits. You can get like 1-2 megas on field if you're lucky, and that's really it. You're just kind of sitting there with a couple towers. You're not going super wide with this deck. So being able to get a whole lot of hits in, besides just DonDevimon's effect itself, you need to be able to swing multiple times, because we don't have security attack +1 or anything like that. So getting multiple swings out of your megas is another way of getting in there. We also have the Chimeramon. It's just like a tech in here, mainly for the Zwart plays. So being able to just play him back off of Zwart, pop something of your opponent. Playing this guy for free is really cool. We do, like I said, we do a lot of drawing and discarding. So just being able to set your trash up with things like this, the DonDevis, just setting up whatever you need is really easy to do. Next we got DonDevi himself. So 12,000 DP Mega, that's awesome. Plenty of things in the format are all 11,000 DP. So being able to swing into security, not having to really worry about anything at a level 6 or lower is a really good feeling. The only thing you got to worry about is like 2, maybe 3 copies of a card in their deck that might have a higher DP than 12,000. 4 Evo cost is pretty steep, unfortunately, but that's the trade-off is you go into this guy and then you can keep bringing him back multiple times for free. So that kind of balances things out for sure. But his effects here, opponent's turn, make sure you remember that. His effect only works on the opponent's turn. Once per turn, when a card is removed from your security stack, trash the top card of your opponent's security stack. Now, if they punch in for 4 security on like some kind of OTK strategy, you only get to use his effect once. So you only get to clear 1. But if you have multiple DonDevis, they all trigger 1 time each. So they punch you for 1 security, you get to then use 3 different DonDevis to each trash 1 security each. That's 3 trashes. So getting multiple of DonDevis on field is a very, very nice thing to do. Also, on deletion, your opponent trashes 2 cards in their hand. So if they do want to commit, because they don't want to swing into your security and risk this effect going off, they want to clear this DonDevi off field, they're going to have to suffer for it. So things like Rookie Rush, if they want to commit to clearing the DonDevi, they're going to hurt because they don't have a whole lot of draw power in that deck. Same with Lord Nightmon. Lord Nightmon can suffer because it's going to do a whole lot of hard playing with his effect, with Lord Nightmon's effect. So they lose out on some good draw factor when they do stuff like that. So their hand can be a little more limited than a lot of other decks. So trashing 2 cards out of those hands is very, very nice. So if they commit to killing him, they're going to you're going to get your retribution for sure. Next, we got the Mastamon, which is just a neat tech side mega here. And when digivolving, trash one of your security and then trash one of your opponent's security. That's really cool. Just a really good security control matchup with this deck. Just absolutely excels at between the DonDevi just trashing free security and the Mastamon also trashing free security. You never have to worry about security control players because you counter that deck so hard. None of their security effects ever get a trigger. So very cool combination there. Unfortunately, I misspoke in the earlier video this week. You can't bring out a DonDevi and then go into a Mastamon as a secondary mega on your turn and clear one of your security to trigger the DonDevi, because it doesn't work like that. I was thinking clear one of yours, and then you could clear two of your opponents when the Mastamon and the DonDevi both clear. Sadly, does not work that way. So I do have an alter mega that I'll talk about after this that you could use in place of Mastamon if you want. But we'll discuss a few different options, a few different cards we can play instead. Next, we got Gatomon here, which is just here for the Mastamon. Being able to just draw and discard as much as we do, we can really sculpt our trash. Just throwing a Gatomon into your trash to set up for the Mastamon play is really cool. So go into Mastamon, bring trash your security, bring out a Gatomon, immediately recover that one, and so it's just like your Mastamon didn't even hurt you at all, and you got to clear one of your opponent's security. That's a really, really nice combo that you can do. As well as being able to run this in a purple deck is great, because as long as there's other purple on field, you get to have a blocker. So she turns into a blocker as long as there's another purple on field. And then if you're playing Mastamon, you bring her out. Mastamon's going to be your guaranteed purple on field. Just really fits in the deck really nicely. Even if you have to hard play her, I did it a few times in a few different games. It's not too bad. 6 play costs for a recovery 1 and a blocker. Love to have that. Love to have that just generic ability in any of my other blockers. Absolutely. So very, very cool card. Next we have the Bushi Agumon, which is a little difficult to actually get off. So again, you just trash this to security, and then when you go into the Mastamon, or not through security, just trash it through discard, Mastamon will bring it out, and then you can rush with it. The tricky part is being able to get yourself up to 4 memory to go into the Mastamon and then do this. If not, then the rush isn't going to matter if you pass your turn back to the opponent. So only good if you can get yourself to 4 memory, which we'll discuss. Next, we got Zwart. Zwart is just a great card that just kind of fits in. If it's a black or purple deck, you can probably throw a Zwart in. If you're not going to use Millenniumon for the removal, throw in a Zwart. There's literally no harm. He's an incredible card. Just being able to bring back your level 5s. That Chimeramon combo we already talked about. The Black War Growlmon, just for that inheritable of being able to get multiple swings off of as soon as you put a Mega on top of him. If you need to bring back blockers, whatever the situation calls for in that moment. If you're about to get run over next turn, go into a Zwart, bring back 2 blockers out of your trash. Great for that. If you're really feeling good that you don't need to worry about blockers, bring back 2 level 5s to set yourself up for some mega plays next turn. Zwart is just awesome. Awesome card for just being able to throw into any kind of purple or black deck. Fits in super easy through most decks. Next, we got the Mat here, and mostly this is just a memory fixer, just being able to put ourselves at 3. Go into your ultimates for 3, and then go into like that DonDevi to pass turn. Just making sure you're always at 3 memory at the start of your turn. Love to fit memory fixers in when we can. Also, just being able to grab back a purple option or Digimon. If you want to recycle a Mastamon, use a Mastamon again. Any of your cards here that you might need to get back. Your DanDevimon here, your promo. If you can't Black War Growlmon to get him back, bring out a Mat to go ahead and grab it back. And so that way you can make sure you always have what you need in any instance. And that's what I really like about purple is we're going to just throw a whole bunch of things in the trash, and then when the time comes, we're going to bring out what we need. We're going to trash this Gatomon. All right, bring it out when we got the Mastamon. Got a Zwart. All right, do we need blockers? Do we need level 5s? What do we need here? Just being able to bring back tons of stuff. War Growlmon bringing back stuff. It's great. The recycle is awesome. And then the last 2 cards in the deck are these 2 right here in the original build. First, we got Night Raid, which the original thought on this was, again, if you got the promo Demi-Devi in trash, being able to play this to bring it back, Digivolve something on top of it, it works. I think now after playing the deck, it feels a little unnecessary, a little overkill, simply because we have so many other ways, which we just discussed, of being able to bring him back. So this is a little redundant at this point, I think, just because we're covered. Next is the Demonic Disaster, which we originally we needed some way to pop our own promo, right? So like there would be plenty of instances where we go Meramon on top of it, swing into security, and the Meramon wouldn't die, and we really needed it to die to bring out that DonDevi. So having just an option in here just to delete it yourself is actually pretty nice. So Demonic Disaster for just that. The side effect here of just unsuspending a purple Digimon is a little less relevant, not always needed. So I do actually have a replacement for this that we'll discuss in just a little bit, that I felt like was a little more impactful, that I could use a little more regularly and a little more useful more often than just this, really just to delete the promo. All right, and that's going to do it for the total deck here. Now, the last 5 cards that I've got right here are all supplemental cards that, after playing the deck more and more, I felt like really needed to be added to the deck. And so we'll discuss like things that you can take out and then place these guys in. First up, the Jack Raid. It really came down to these 4-cost Evos just were always passing my turn. I have my memory fixer, still not enough. If I could Jack Raid and put myself to 4 memory and then go into a Mass Daemon, then I can get the Bushi combo off. I don't have to rely on my opponent putting me to 4 memory. I can put myself to 4 memory. As much as we set up the trash in this deck and fill it up really, really quickly, we have tons of mill cards as well as draw and discard. Getting 10 in trash is pretty easy in this deck. So a couple Jack Raids, I feel 2 Jack Raids instead of the Night Raids, and you're really just going to sit on those Jack Raids until it's time to bring out a Mass Daemon or time to bring out a DonDevi to keep it on your turn, so you can still swing with it after you bring it out. Just sit on those Jack Raids and just use them for your megas. I mean, that's really, really the big thing is these guys right here, keeping it on your turn. Mass Daemon, Digivolve into Mass Daemon, trash one of your opponent's security, bring out a Bushi, swing with the Bushi, clear another security, swing with the Mass Daemon, clear another security. That's 3 security in a deck that normally can't get really aggro. So Jack Raid just being able to facilitate those instead of the Night Raid. Next we got these 2 options here, and the first one is the Death Claw, and this was the one I wanted to use in place of the Demonic Disaster. Delete one of your Digimon to delete one of your opponent's level 4 or lower. Also, the security effect, just delete one of your opponent's level 4 or lower, just on itself. You don't need to delete one of your own. Just as a 2-of to replace the Demonic Disaster, there was a few times where I was just in a position where I just needed to clear something off my opponent's side of the field. I don't necessarily need to pop my promo to trigger its ability, but I need a little bit more control, and I would have the Demonic Disaster in hand. I'm like, this is completely useless right now. I don't need multiple swings. More often, I need to clear something off my opponent's side of the field, then I need to get an extra swing. And if all I'm using Demonic Disaster for is to pop my own promo, might as well run a different option that allows me a little bit more control. And I think that the control is a little bit more important than that one extra swing. So the Deathclaw over the Demonic Disaster there, I think is a good call. But I do want to talk, at least just mention Heat Viper here, which is kind of just a more like powerful version of it. Now, it is a play cost of 5, which is pretty steep. This is really the definition of power creep here. This is a BT2 card, so it's almost a year older than the starter deck one, but you may delete one of your opponent's Digimon to delete 2 of your opponent's level 4 or lower Digimon. So you get more value out of it, which could be kind of good, especially in those really dangerous situations where your opponent's about to clear you because they've got too much on field. Just being able to pop a rookie that you just raised out of raising with this Heat Viper to clear 2 of those, that could be pretty good. I think that the Deathclaw is just a little bit better because at 1 cost, you just cannot argue that, your opponent passes it to you, you promote that rookie, pop it with Deathclaw, it's still your turn. It puts you to 0 memory, but it's still your turn. You still got to clear something. Personally, I just think the Deathclaw is a little bit better than the Heat Viper, and that will replace the Demonic Disaster there. So Jackraid and Deathclaw. Now these other ones here, we got Anubismon and Lucimon. Lucimon, you could just put into the deck, okay? You could drop the Gatomons just for the Lucimons instantly. Being able to play the Lucimon off of the Mastamon still works. If you do it early game, though, so Mastamon puts you down to 4. If you bring that Gatomon, the Gatomon's not going to be live. The Gatomon only works if your security is 3 or less. So if you go Mastamon early game and to bring out a Gatomon, you're not going to get any good value off that Gatomon. However, if you discarded a Lucimon and did that combo, the Lucimon would immediately trigger and bring you back up to 5 security. So, as well as it's just a 10k beater at that point. So you can just swing randomly with the Lucimon that it's fine. You know, you just keep swinging with it. As long as your opponent leaves it on the field and it doesn't die in security, just keep swinging turn after turn after turn with Lucimon. Gatomon, though, being a blocker, you feel more inclined to not attack with it. You know, you want to keep it there just in case your opponent plays something you need to block it, whereas Lucimon, you can be a little more lax with it and just keep swinging. Next, though, is the Anubismon, and my original thought on the Anubismon was the issue of if I have a memory fixer on field and I don't have a Jackraid, Anubismon, I can still go into Anubismon and still do things, whereas if I go into Mastamon, I pass my turn. Anubismon also works with Lucimon really well. You can bring out a Lucimon with Anubis and give it rush, so that cuts off the need to play the Bushi Agumon at this point. If you go with Anubismon or if you're going with Mastamon just to get this neat Bushi Agumon trick off, you can do that same trick with Anubismon, keep it on your turn, and actually get value out of that rush. Way easier, way less setup. You don't need 10 in trash and a Jackraid to do that combo. You can just go into Anubismon, play whatever purple you want, and it just kind of fits in the deck a little bit better. It doesn't need any weird setup. That one Bushi in the whole deck to discard into trash before you can do this combo. Anubismon's just like, I don't care what rookie it is. It has rush. We're good to go. Just the Anubismon felt like it just kind of fit a little bit better for this kind of style, as well as it also works with the Lucimon. So if you wanted to drop the Gatomon and the Bushi, you could easily substitute the Mastamon for Anubismon and still fit in the Lucimon, just because the recovery is still important. Gatomon or Lucimon, whichever one you go with, the recovery is still important because this is a DonDevi deck. It's when your opponent swings into your security and clears the security, you get to clear one of your opponent's securities. If you can recover and get more security back, that's just more DonDevi effects that are going to keep clearing your opponent's security. So that's why we went kind of out of our way to get cards that recover your security. With Mastamon's effect not triggering DonDevis because it's on your own turn, that's kind of a bummer. But if we can still get something that's going to get some recovery, that's still really awesome. So the Anubismon, I think still, I don't know, it's hard to say. Mastamon's really good. Mastamon clears is really good for clearing security control decks. Same with DonDevi. They both countered security control so well. Whereas Anubismon doesn't really do that. Now, you can still get a lot of the other benefits of Mastamon, the revival and such, and keeping it on your turn. It's also only a 10k, whereas Mastamon's a 12k. So there's benefits of both. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you would, please like the video and subscribe. Just a little bit of help goes a super long ways. It helps the channel out tremendously, gets my videos out there, gets them seen. And if you really, really want to support the channel, check out the links in the description below. I'll have a link for my Patreon, which is displayed right here. You can get access to my Discord server that I have, as well as you can get the memory markers that we've had. These are just a few of my favorites from the past that we've had. The current one, Impmon's baby, as well as Gabumon's baby as well, Sunomon and Yamon. These guys are super adorable. I definitely love them so much. and every month a new one changes out, so make sure you check that out. As well as we have our new playmats. This is why I recreated this video. It's because our playmats are here finally, and they are super cool. I alternate between the black and white every single month for whoever wants to support this tier, as well as I have a tier just higher than that, so that way you don't also have to lose out on a memory marker. You can get both the memory marker and the playmat just in case you want both. Super awesome support from everyone that has supported in the past and who will support in the future. You guys are awesome. Also, if you want to check out my merch, my Teespring link is in the description below for that. We've got, you know, the shirts that I wear on the channel that has the logo across. I love when I see people representing my merch in public. It is like one of the coolest feelings I've ever had in my entire life. Very, very awesome. As well as phone cases for you people that love Digimon like so much like I do. A friend of mine custom made all these to fit these specific phone cases themselves, so the prices are a little bit higher just because I have to pay her back, as well as make a little tiny bit of profit because of how much unfortunately they take for their cut for Teespring. But like I said, if you can't do any of that, please just like the video and subscribe to the channel. Every time we hit a new mile marker for subscriptions, I give out free merch of all different types. 2000K, I think we're doing one of the playmat giveaways, so definitely be subscribed and ready for when that comes.